The left side and one on the right hand side.
Tell you a little bit about why they have these lights here.
Hi, I'm Godwin, and I'm the oldest granddaughter of Chief. My letter is C, and it stands for caring, because she's always caring. He cares for himself first and foremost. He will put everyone else before himself. And then my other letter is H, because he's honorable. He's an honorable soul and will never be forgotten. We love each other.
He's an honorable soul who will never be forgotten. Thank you, Lisa. Alright, then I have Alan.
Hello, my name is Alan Lloyd. I'm the oldest grandson of Chief. I have high for invincible, because no matter how old he got, no matter how long he was working, he always just got it done. He didn't stop. He didn't retire, which, he was well able to. And now I have E, which E is for energized, because no matter, in almost everything he did, he was always just, always full of energy. He didn't stop.
Alright, and now I have Alex to introduce himself.
Hello, I'm Alex, and I'm the second oldest grandson. And I have F and O. For F, I is faithful because he's always been, such a faithful person. He's always been so spiritual. He said the rosary every night, and he had faith in his offspring that we could do great things as well. And he always had such a great vision and faith in everything. And for O, I did outstanding because in everything he did, he gave it 200%. He was, outstanding. In his studies, in his in his work, and everything.
Yeah. That's beautiful. Now we're going to move to Ima. Let her introduce herself.
Hello, my name is Ogbuokiri. I'm the second oldest granddaughter. And for my words, I would pick, praise this honestly. My everlasting mountain. My everything. Every moment. There are no words out there to describe how much you really mean to me. I love you. We love you.
Thank you, Ima. That was beautiful. And now we have Amara. I'll let you introduce yourself.
Hi, I'm Amara, the youngest boy. My letter is N, and for N I chose nice. He was a very nice person, always putting others before himself, and he helped so many people, not just as a doctor, but in general too.
Thank you, Amara. All right. And now we move on to Kobe.
Hello, my name is Kobe Tochi Onyema. The third oldest grandson of Chief Ogbuokiri. And my word is kindness. Okay? Because he was always so kind to his patients, to his community, to his family. And I think that's a trait we should all aspire and try to emulate.
I love that very much. Thank you. And now we have the youngest grandchild, Chidi.
Hello, I'm Chidi, and I'm the youngest grandson of My word is adventurous because he was always adventurous and he wanted to go everywhere. And he always wanted us to come over to his house.
He always wanted us to come over to his house. That's great. Well, thank you, Chidi. Thank you, girls. Thank you, boys. Thank you, everyone. Thank you.
Please put your hands together for this beautiful grandkids. And next I'm calling on Dr.
Had a deep relationship with everybody here. I get tagged as the favorite of my father in the family. And I got into that idea for so many years. It was not until the week that he was sick. No, it was not until the week that he passed that I realized that I had been sold a lie. Because as soon as he passed, then I realized that everybody had a special, unique relationship with my father. And I just got the label to be his most favorite. But in truth, everybody was his most favorite. My dad had a special relationship for everybody that he came across, be it patient, be it a nephew, a niece, a grandchild. He was just that type of person. He connected with people on a different level. My dad was my first and most consistent, unwavering example of true and unconditional love. I remember during an episode of my life, I was struggling with a particular issue in my life, and I came to him, and the warmth and the reception and the open-mindedness that he approached me was overwhelming. And I thought to myself, if my father on earth could love me so unconditionally like this, how much more my father in heaven? That really broke me. I'm fierce, I'm bold, I'm gentle, I'm kind, all because my father showed me how. My father was never a confrontational person. He was good at a lot of things. He was a good doctor, a good friend, very hardworking, dedicated, but he just didn't know how to fight. He will fight for everything, but he will never fight another human being. I don't care what it was. He will always take the low road. And I was his fighter. I'll see him what I thought was being bullied or being walked over or being pushed over. And then he would come to me, and explain what the struggle was or one thing or the other that he was struggling with. And I'm like, Dad, you have to go there and show them how it's done. this is what you're gonna do. This is what we're gonna do. Okay, let me school you. You go there, you look them in the eyes, and you say you know, whatever it was. And then you be like, I can do it. I'm like, yeah, Dad, you got this. You know, you're the boss. You go tell him what time it is. And I'll pop him up and send him out there. And then he'll come back and like, Mom, hapo dali na. I'm like, Dad, but come on, we had this whole spiel, we had this whole plan. You know, you were supposed to go out there and show them who's boss. And he's like, you know what? Let it go. It's not worth it. So it didn't matter what I did. He just wouldn't fight. And it frustrated me because I was his, you know, I felt like I was his spokesperson. You know, anybody that came after him, I had to go in there and get you because he wasn't going to stand up for himself, I felt like. So, like I was talking to a few of my cousins today, when he passed, I just felt so much peace. I felt in my stomach I couldn't fight the fight anymore. I couldn't find my fight. Certain things that would pick, you know, like tick me off and get me going. And I just couldn't. And I would say again, because this is your moment to go up. This is your moment to, you know, give it to them and do whatever. And I just couldn't find my fight. It took me a while to realize that him passing, he left all his peace with me. I could no longer fight. And I'm thinking in my mind, I'm like, but Dad, when you were here, I was your fighter, and you know, why would you take that away from me? But I just have an overwhelming, deep-seated sense of peace. I mean, my colleagues would say, well, you're doing so well. You're grieving so well. I wish I felt that way about my father. I wish I didn't struggle with whatever it is. And I'm like, you know, even my husband said, I think you're further ahead in the grieving process. Like, you're doing so well compared to everybody. Because they thought I was going to break. Because I was his special kid, you know? But I just couldn't. I couldn't find in myself to be angry. I couldn't find in myself to be sad. I couldn't find in myself to just have any negative feeling. It was just a sense of love, peace, joy, happiness, and just peace that surpasses all understanding, really. So needless to say, a lot has been said about him. I would never have a better father. I mean, if you were to come to life again, I would choose you over and over and over to be my dad. He's a faithful friend, a travel buddy, a babysitter, diaper changer, bottle maker. Like, he was everything. Gossip keeper, prayer warrior, you know. He just filled so many boxes and so many things. He was easy to be around. You know, I could go anywhere with him. Like, you could walk into any room with my dad and be okay. It could be like Bourbon Street and you'll be fine. It'll be like, you know, executive, wherever you'll be fine. It didn't matter where you took him, he got you. That as we're grieving, we're all grieving. I see the love and I see the hurt. We've all lost everybody. We've all lost our father, a friend, a healer, a doctor, a companion, a counselor, you know, a lot of things. But I just want you to remember that he loved each and everybody in this room in a very unique and special way. And that is, I can honestly say that is true, even to my friends. Like, I'm going through the videos, I see videos that he did with my friends. I mean, he was everywhere. And if anything that I want to move forward with in life is the peace and the joy that he was and the love that he shared while he was here on earth. So thank you all for coming, and thank you for honoring my dad, and I appreciate all of you. Thank you.
Dr. Ogbuokiri was a special mentor to me. My name's Robert Jemison. I worked in the clinic some along with Dr. Ogbuokiri, tried to help where I could and when I could. I'm actually a family nurse practitioner. About 40 years between all of that with our nursing and all. But Dr. Ogbuokiri was a special mentor to me. We spent a lot of time talking. He was an excellent mentor, not just in the profession of medicine, but just a special mentor for black men, to what we need to be to our families, to those of us that have, those of you that have wives, to your wives, your families, your grandchildren, to be able to be that strong support unit. And not only to our families, he was able to reach out to the patients and meet them where they were. We were able to talk a lot about different patients and meeting the need. And in a time such as this, where oftentimes we're limited in what we can offer people because of the insurances or restrictions or barriers or whatever, he was able to reach across and through some of those barriers to help other folks. Because as we know, the individual practitioner is a treasured minority. I'm not going to say a dying minority. It's a treasured minority because it's a special calling and especially difficult hardship to be able to provide care in this particular environment. That's right. With all of the challenges that we have with insurances and different things, we're still able to reach across the aisle and help our people and help people in need, irregardless of the payment structure, the payment mechanism, the payment methodology. And so I think God had a special calling. There's no accidents. There's not any accidents of any of us being here tonight. There was not, in my belief, any accidents of anyone in here that came across the path of Dr. Ogbuokiri and he coming across your path. Those are special alignments. The Lord has those steps and paths laid out for us before we were even born. And he was a special mentor to me and was able to really pour a lot into me as it related to patients, as it related to people, as it related to so many different things here in the U.S., and he even shared things with me beyond the U.S. that were really impressive. So I just want to say, those memories that you have of Dr. Ogbuokiri, cherish them, mimic them, allow them to grow in your heart, and let's all move forth and keep that alive. That humility, that humbleness, the scripture says that let one not think more of him or herself than what they ought to. That could be translated as let's not be arrogant. But the priest said today that he never remembers Dr. Ogbuokiri introducing himself as a doctor. He just introduced himself and you figure out who he was. Because oftentimes the profession is not the person. This is what you do for a living. This is who you are. But isn't it a wonderful thing when the Lord takes those gifts that he's given us and it's totally in line with who you are and what you are and what you're doing, and everything is in sync. So I don't want to tie up all of your time and all of the evening. I thank the family for allowing me to speak. I love Dr. Ogbuokiri. I'm going to miss him dearly, and I love the family that's here. Thank you.
I just want to follow up in a sentence to say that as much as possible, we're going to try to keep the clinic open. Because so many people have been bombarding me, asking. And that openness depends on how much time people like Dr. Robert Denison can offer. So I want to really thank you for helping my husband, and I'm hoping that that Christian Christ-like, it's not just Christian, it is Christ-like relationship can continue. Because part of what we needed to do was to try and help black men and women get that substantial confidence through knowledge that allows them to do the best for their community, at the same time be strong people who can thrive and survive in the society. So I want to thank you, and you and I will talk. Amen.
Thank you, Dr. Jennison.
for your outstanding work. Thank you very much. God bless you. I'm calling on Dr. Emmanuel Eze. Dr. Emmanuel Eze, if you're here, please come forward.
Also, Chief Omudo is a contemporary of Dr. Godwin Ogbuokiri. They grew up together, they became doctors together, they were from the same part of the world. They had a very similar life journey. My father is 83 years old as well. They might as well be twins. My father called him Godio. He called my father Emao. So this loss my father took this loss particularly hard. This was his brother. This was not a friend. This was not an in-law. This was his life. You could read my father's life in Omenka's life. My father is not able to address you today because he's very emotional. And he's a little weak. So he's asked me to speak for him. I will tell you a little bit about Dr. Ogbuokiri. Dr. Ogbuokiri, Godwin Ogbuokiri. That name is very important. When that song came out, Godwin, it was a hit in our family because we all related to him. Because this man was the clearest expression of what the Creator's love must feel like. He loved everybody, he judged no one, and he really didn't have an opinion on your life one way or the other. Live it however you want to live it, and Omenka will always be there for you. Omenka knew each one of us personally, had a nickname for each one of us. Once you were born, he gave you a nickname. Okay, every one of us knows what Omenka called them. Omenka was, in every sense, the way a life should be lived. Look, everyone in here is going to die, that's a guarantee. The question becomes, what did you live for? Everyone dies, not everyone lives. This man lived every single day of his life as if it was his last. You never saw Omenka full of anxiety, full of stress, worried about tomorrow. He dealt with it, he moved on. There was nothing you could bring that would cow this man. But still, he was humble, he was unassuming. He was extremely a man of the people. He was childlike in his devotion to the people around him. Completely unassuming. I've known him since I was maybe 6 years old. My earliest memories of him, look, I'll tell you guys a funny story. I have no hair, if you didn't notice. Started with my uncle, used to have this cool afro. It was fantastic. And I would go in and look at my uncle's afro and I'd be like, wow, this guy is so cool. And then one day, I think I was hanging out with this guy and this guy, and we're probably 7 years old, and I didn't go home like I was supposed to go home. It's 8 o'clock, my uncle is relaxed, and he takes off his toupee. And I thought I was going to I think I had some nightmares behind that. Because this is Nigeria, 1982. Like, uncle, what happened to your head? Did it explode? So this was the first time I knew that you had something you could put up there. And Omenka got to the point where, typical Omenka, he got tired of the toupee, took it off, and just scraped his head bald. I didn't even know how he did it until one day. Now, I'm pushing 20s now, and I'm starting to see some, milk pattern, that nonsense. And I go to my brother. My brother started shaving his head bald. I said, why are you shaving your head bald? He says, well, I walked in on Omenka shaving his head, and it was so simple. He just takes a razor and just goes boom, 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 and he's done. Let's check it out. So whenever we buy a new razor and just sit in front of the mirror and just go bang, 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 it's Omenka style. So this is the Omenka style. We got it from him, every single one of us. So, Omenka, I wanted to really cry when Omenka went. On my way here, I thought I was going to break down. And I got to be honest with you, when I walked in to the church this morning and I saw him, I was filled with something that was not sorrow. It was almost mirth. I wouldn't say laughter, but it was mirth. It was some kind of joy. I was looking at him and saying, that's the only way to exit this planet. That is the way I want to go, okay? He went like I thought Omenka would go. So, Omenka, one of the things I loved about him, first, one son of 7 children, the only son. His father was a major business mogul, a millionaire, very rich, wealthy man. And you know how it is when a son comes in and has to step into really big shoes. A lot of sons fail at that. This man refused to fail at it, did it so much better because he did it with humility and didn't even focus on the money that dad had. He focused on creating a different kind of wealth. And that wealth is the community, the people in this room, the people of New Orleans who are mourning right now, the common people who would have never been able to see a doctor or to get health care. He gave it to them quietly, didn't make any money from it. That becomes his legacy. That becomes his immortality. So, on behalf of my father, myself, my family, I say to all of you, Omega is a model. And I think that if you're going to take anything away from here, don't take any sadness. Take away what did you learn from Omega and how are you going to use that to make your life better. So when your time comes, you will have fulfillment in your life and people will look at you and say, wow, that's how I want to go. Thank you very much.
To my husband, I will.
To talk about my brother, Godwin, Ogbuokiri. I thought he would have been the one now, standing before you and talking about me, because I was supposed to have been gone. But through his prayers and devotions of my wife, those two kept me alive until today. I am so sure that Omega is in heaven. He couldn't be anywhere else, he's in heaven. Ladies and gentlemen, let's clap for Omega. This icon, this Iroko, a wall Iroko, cannot be duplicated. I cannot talk more than a few minutes about him without breaking down, because he means a lot to me. Everybody in my family know him. Everybody in my town adore him. Because he is the best philanthropist that ever lived. People call him that. I haven't seen anybody who came across Omega that didn't fall in love with him. In fact, his middle name is Love. I've done a lot with him. I've been involved with him a lot. And yet have to see or meet a man who will meet half his characteristics. In fact, I can talk about him until tomorrow. That's how much he means to me. But I know I won't deceive you. I can't start here and talk for a long time. without breaking down myself. He has been involved with my family. He has done a lot with us. My whole family is in love with him. And he calls my wife Angie Baby. Ladies and gentlemen, like I told you, I don't want to break down crying. So please let me give the telephone to Bekem.
All I have to say is that Dr. Ogbuokiri was my strength. When my husband was sick for 2 years, you know, Dr. Ogbuokiri called me every single day. He came to the hospital, sat by me. Even when he went to Nigeria, he called me. Kedu, it will be fine. Everything will be fine. And then, when he was sick, I wasn't even here to take care of him. But you know what? God knows the best. That's all I can say. And he's just sick. And all I'm saying is, we're going to be praying for him, and he's in heaven praying for us too. Thank you all.